What's up, everybody? It's Dr. Brett Jones of the Source Chiropractic here in Tucson, Arizona. Today I'm joined by Coach Q Jefferson, a brother from another mother. And he runs the Ruckus Room, both downtown and north location here in Tucson, a Tucsonan at heart, and going through a similar injury that I had just about a freaking year ago, which is wild. And so for those who are unaware, August 6th, 2022, complete rupture of my left Achilles tendon. Was about a centimeter gap and was able to reattach it naturally without surgery. I believe that was some inspiration to Q just based on his philosophy of health and how he takes care of the fitness of his people through the various challenges that he runs. And then October 30th, correct, of 2023, complete rupture of his right Achilles tendon. And so, I've been talking to him for the last 2 weeks because he had a decision to make on whether or not he was going to go the surgical route or he was going to try to heal it naturally. And he's going to go the healing it naturally. We're going to say try, we're going to freaking do it, right? And so, based on MRI, he currently has about a 3 centimeter gap. I would say at 4 centimeters, you're going to start approaching, a threshold of what can be done. But tendons can reattach naturally. In case you didn't know, I have MRI results to prove it. But for right now, I do want to talk, a little bit with Q about the journey. All right, so Q, why don't you go ahead and share, a little bit about the injury and then what's led to this decision.
This has been like a crazy thing that's been happening, and I'm grateful for the source to make me feel comfortable, to be able to start the healing process, believe in it. Because Monday, October 30th at 6:45 a.m. when I realized that I had ruptured my Achilles, so many things was going through my head of just, I'm a very active person. I don't play video games. I don't do anything like that. I'm outdoors. I own gyms. I'm an active trainer, active dad. So chopping my Achilles off is that's a major thing to me. And I was doing box jumps in gyms, and that's a place where I feel the most comfortable, right? The most able. When I walk into a gym, that's my home, that's my, no matter where I was at. And the crazy thing is, 2 days prior, I had did a CrossFit competition and performed amazingly. I was so proud of my body. 3 days earlier, I was coming to see him about a lat thing. We did one session and I was back to normal, jumped into the CrossFit competition, killed it. And then Monday, I was just thinking I'm gonna take it a little bit slow today, not do too much. And then boom, I'm coming back with the Achilles rupture. So when I got back, I ruptured at 7 a.m. Monday. I was back in town 3 p.m. from Los Angeles. I took a flight here. The first stop that I made when I got back was straight over here. We got his boot, he hooked me up with his crutches, his whole shebang from his Achilles. So from day one, moment one, the first thing I did was I came here and started getting on his protocol. And then over the last 2 weeks, I was deciding if I needed to get surgery. I scheduled the surgery twice, and I canceled the surgery twice, and just said, you know what? If I am a son of God, if I believe in God, then why not lean on that? And that's me to a T. My brand is, if it swims to the sea, flies across the sky, runs across the lands, we eat it. If it's water, we drink it. If it's not any of those things, we think about it, right? We moderate those. I've been in the sun breathing and meditating on Wednesdays and falling deep in love with my body and my breath, the sun, God. And right now I'm just dude, if he can't do this, what can he do, right? This seems so simple to me. So
amen.
I'm ready to
There
rock.
it is. I love that. What we did is we drafted out a unique healing plan for Coach Q here, and so I'm gonna go through it real quick. And so we have a nourishment plan, we have a movement plan, a recuperation plan, and then a presence/focus plan. We're gonna be focusing on 220 grams of protein a day. His goal right now is to be a little bit more low-cal. He wants to decrease some weight so that it's not so much pressure every time he goes to take a step, right? So currently about 230, 235, we're gonna drop down to around 220 pounds. That's gonna include 110 ounces of water or more, no sugar. We're gonna be doing collagen and bone broth, creatine, colostrum, and what else? In the morning, we want to start with a glass of water. He's been having 3 shots of espresso. We're going to move down to 1. Caffeine can dehydrate you, so we want to make sure we're staying as hydrated as possible. So we're going to start with water and apple cider vinegar or lemon, and then we're going to move that into bone broth, and then from there you can have the first shot of espresso, maybe 1 more later in the day. So that's kind of some of the nourishment changes that are happening. For movement, we're going to be doing 30 minutes of cardio a day with no strain on the Achilles yet. We're still too early on in the game, and so for that he can be doing things like a ski erg, seated ski erg. So he's going to be sitting down using a ski erg, and then we can play. You know, he's expert level in fitness, and so he'll figure out what other things he can do, and I'll be helping him where I can. We're also going to be doing 3 times a week doing some pool work, 15 to 45 minutes, and then mobility daily. For recuperation, passive care, receiving chiropractic 3 times a week. We have a BioCharger here, so I'm doing 2 sessions a day, 5 days a week, so a total of 10 BioCharger sessions. That works on the pulse electromagnetic field, voltage, currency, and light therapy, and we can be doing specific programs to help heal his tendon. We're also going to be doing sauna 3 times a week to every day, so 3 to 7 times a week. He has one at home, so that's super helpful. And then we're going to wait on doing cold plunge until week 4 or 6. We're also going to be adding acupuncture once every 2 weeks and massage every 2 weeks. That's the passive forms of care. For active, we're going to make sure that we are elevating still. We're not going to ice it. Icing can actually retard the healing process, and so we're not icing right now. The inflammation's there for a reason, but we can also be adding self-massage. And then what we did is we actually created a 3-month, 6-month, 9-month, 12-month vision. So 3-month has a lot more focus on functional foundational movements. So this is the ability to ride a bike, the ability to walk, taking steps towards jogging, and the ability to carry daughter, right, and walk. So that's within the 3-month goal. For the 6-month goal, it's more functional performance. So we want to be able to do long distance run, 1 to 3 miles, with getting a 10-minute mile or less. Body weight lunges, body weight squats, kicks in the pool, kettlebell swings, long distance hike, single leg heel lift or calf raise, and 20 unbroken pull-ups, right? So that's our 6-month goal, totally accomplishable. 9-month, we're going to strength and power. We're going to be doing sprints, 225 or more on squat, 205 or more on power clean, 185 or more on thruster, 405 or more on deadlift. Again, this is a high strength athlete. Those numbers might seem crazy to some people, but for Q, that's a walk in the park, and we're hoping that's going to be in 9 months. That will be no problem. 12-month, we're going into plyo, explosiveness, and performance. So our intention is to be able to do a big box jump with 48 inches or more, to be able to do a shuttle run, ladder drills, dunk a basketball, and take first place in a sprint triathlon in the Clydesdale category. For those that don't know, you got to weigh over 225 pounds.
Big boys.
Big boys. And we're going to be limiting distractions, doing some energy enhancement, focusing on the elements as well. These are all foundations, by the way, in the program I created called Healing Codes. We work on the elements, work on the foundation, and other principles of healing, which are very similar to laws of manifestation. But we're going to be honoring the elements, so it's 20 minutes a day with the sun, 20 minutes a day grounding, water, and of course clean air, right? And this is, again, a big story of him leaping into faith. So let's go ahead and show you what we're going to be doing for providing chiropractic care during this time. Again, we're 2 weeks out from injury.
You can see it, like that's literally right there where you can feel the rupture. I can feel like a valley with my finger, but then most of the pain is up here. Like I don't really feel pain down here. You know, I can wiggle my toes, I can go side to side. I don't even think to try to come up. I just keep my foot down. I can now like wrap my fingers around my calf muscle when I can't do that on this side. It's starting to decrease pretty fast.
One of the primary things that you need to do if you've had any type of Achilles injury is you need to keep the foot in plantar flexion. Ideally close to 30 degrees or more, right? So it's gonna look like something like that, because every time your toes come up, that Achilles is going to pull away, specifically if you had a rupture, but even if you had a strain, you want to try to be in this position as much as possible. And what he was also describing is he's already starting to experience some calf atrophy. And so at some point I'll show you mine, a year plus later, I still have atrophy in my left calf, right? Because what happens is if you disrupt the Achilles tendon, that's what connects to the calf, and now the calf can't fire. If the calf can't fire, it takes time until you make the full reattachment to get some micro movements in the calf. But you're not going to get full contraction. You know, it could be up to 6 months, depending. You know, our goals are more progressive than that, and so we'll see where we're at. But anything else to say about this?
I'm going to show my boot. Like what's happening.
Yeah, so for the boot, right, we got on this one, and I'm gonna work on getting a different one. But, so he's wearing the boot, but it's not just a boot. One of the biggest reasons we're wearing the boot is because of that, right? And so that's what it looks like on the inside of the boot, is we have that sharp angle so that his heel can stay elevated and his toes can be lower. And then when he's out of it, what we're actually gonna do today is I'm gonna actually help tape it so that when he's not in the boot and he's just around the house, that he can still have more of that type of position. All right, cute. So let's go ahead and let's get footage of the side-by-side of our ankles here. And so if you see here, we're gonna have that tight Achilles tendon, right? This is on the good leg. Right? And then as we go here, you're not gonna see tight. What you're gonna see is, you know, much more wide span, bulkier tissue, and it's just super warm, so it's very hot. We are starting to have some level of encapsulation. And so what typically happens is we get a lot of heat, a lot of swelling, and the body's so smart, it will start to create its own cast, right? And that's why some people worry about blood clots. But what's happening it's basically encapsulating the injury, and then it's gonna start working on it coming together. So if I feel the tissue, it's super soft here where we have the disconnection, and again, it's a lot wider, but then as we work our way up the tissue, it's gonna start to get hard at the injury site, so right there. And then this is where we have a lot of heat. And so what we wanna do is we want to actually be approximating those, and that's why we want the toes, right, going away from the nose, which is called plantar flexion. So during all this, why get adjusted still? Well, nervous system regulation, as you can imagine, during all this, it creates a higher level of stress in the body. The other piece is, as we're wearing a boot, walking around, we're gonna create a lot of compensations and dysfunction in other areas of the body that we wanna clear. So we wanna clear the pelvis, we wanna clear the low back, mid back, upper back, neck, all of it. And there are some things we can be doing specifically for this. So I'm picking up that there's a level of torsion right here happening at the T11, T10 area. So this needs to lift up here. Take a breath, let it out. We'll let this drop. Perfect. All right, so opening up that area, checking the pelvis. Yes. So he's getting locked up on his left ilium. We'll use the drop table for that, so I don't have to move him around too much since we have that injury. So we're gonna let this drop down. We'll do a little bit more than that. Good. Take a big breath in. And let it out. All right. So spine is getting clear, which means better brain-body communication, which is going to be an important piece to our healing scenario. So what I'm doing here is, I believe it was 9 centimeters up, right, is where we had the tear, but you can feel it because that's where it's going to be the hardest, because now, because we're 2 weeks later, a lot of it started to, again, like encapsulate itself. So what we can do is create an approximation. So bringing the two ends together. And the tissue, specifically the fascia, will respond to our intention, our thought, sound, right? And vibration. After we do the charging session today as well, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get a tape job done to support his heel being supported above the calf while anchoring the calf down. So we're gonna anchor the heel up, anchor the calf down, and really focusing on those 2 points coming together. Finish out that brain-body communication. There's an adjustment. All right, so what you're seeing here is the BioCharger, one of my favorite energy devices out in the market. You have a Tesla coil, doing a pulsed electromagnetic field to get to right frequencies, currency, voltage, and light therapy. We can run this specifically for a variety of cells because every cell vibrates at a different frequency. So we're running it for tendon support. Pulsed electromagnetic field is one of the most helpful things that I saw with my Achilles tendon injury. And so we're able to do it here at the Source Tucson.